हेलो। वेलकम सिटीजन्स ऑफ यूट्यूब। आज एक बार फिर से आपका स्वागत है। आज मैं रिएक्ट करने वाला हूँ एक अगेन DRS क्लिप्स के वीडियो पर, जिसका टाइटल है बीजेपीज रियल पावर, JSI दीपक एक्सप्लेन सिंगल पार्टी स्टेट पॉसिबिलिटी फॉर इंडिया। लेट्स फाइंड आउट इफ सिंगल पार्टी स्टेट इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ इंडिया, because right now it is not looking good for other parties, especially in the general Lok Sabha elections. Okay, so let's find out what JSI Deepak has to say. In my opinion, he is very articulate. He knows how to put forward his views very unapologetically. Okay, here we go.
Why don't you draw a bit of a trajectory of the current government over the rest of the 20s as well as the 30s, both based on interior narratives and exterior narratives? Because I think we had Rajiv Malhotra on the show who suggested that possibly, again, there's no other word to describe this system. The closest word is dictatorship.
Right.
But I think the word he used is single party state.
Right.
Are we going there? Like, are we going toward, because there's no opposition. Like, the closest person who has even a bit of bite is probably, the party is AAP. And there's nothing else which is even near.
It'll bite the dust sooner than we realize.
The AAP?
Yeah. I mean, there's a point at which you need to rein in your hyperbole and exaggeration. You've given yourself labels such as he is the current day Mahatma Gandhi, this and that. Come on, yaar, who's going to believe this? And of course, Delhi walas are not going to believe this. They're way too smart for this, right? So the problem is this. There is a huge...
Just to point out, in my opinion, just because there isn't a credible opposition doesn't mean that the government has become dictatorial, because for democracy we need free and fair elections. So if the opposition doesn't exist, it could also mean that the ideas of the opposition are not liked by the people, and hence the opposition does not get votes. In a dictatorship, there are no free and fair elections. So let's keep this criteria in mind when we try to classify the current regime or the previous or the whatever regime as dictatorial.
Paucity of good options as in the opposition. And I think as it was Anand Ranganathan who said this, who was a dear friend, who said this, that the BJP, or at least Mr. Modi, is blessed with the joke of an opposition in his horoscope. Okay. So
That's true.
It's unfortunate. It's unbelievable.
Circumstances do create destiny.
Correct.
And this is true.
Look at it. Where are the options here? And surely it can't be anybody's case that the government is getting everything right. It's not possible humanly. Human error is bound to happen. So that means people aren't paying attention to policy. People aren't paying attention to actual issues. They're busy playing identity politics to bring him down.
Saying that he's anti anything that's not Hindu.
Anti-democracy, anti-free speech. What are you saying? Who's...
In all fairness, the opposition has dug its own grave, because they're not ready to give control of the party to someone outside the family. I recently found out that Shashi Tharoor has been sidelined in the Congress party just because he had the gall to run for the party president.
Who's going to buy this? Who's going to buy this? The number of articles which are written day in and day out. I mean, which of these people has been jailed for writing against Mr. Modi? It may have happened for any other BJP person, but not for Mr. Modi, by the way. It could have happened at the state level. It could have happened for anybody else, not for him. I'm not going to defend him for anything. I'm just saying that choose your issues well. At least think through what you're saying. The chances of India becoming a single party state, almost like China, or let's say a single party democracy, as oxymoronic as it sounds like Singapore, is not, I don't think it's going to happen. Because you see, Singapore is a city state. Size plays a role. Number of options plays a role. Your ability to curb and finish your political opponents, all of that plays a huge role. That's not going to happen here. Okay? And importantly, as in every political party, there are huge differences of opinion in every party. Okay? So it's a question of how those differences of opinion are managed. Right? There was a point when the Congress in the 1920s and 30s had no alternative. Okay? But the Swaraj Party came outside of it, established by Chittaranjan Das, Deshbandhu, and Motilal Nehru. Right? when they realize that the non-cooperation movement isn't taking the Congress anywhere. So sometimes it may not be an opposition from the outside. It may also happen as a consequences of differences of opinion from within. Let me clarify. I'm not hinting at anything. I'm just saying.
This point is to be noted that the opposition does not choose its issues well. They don't know when and where to criticize, and people have become smarter, especially with the advent of social media and the internet. Also, I totally agree with him. The chances that India becomes a one-party state is very less, like nil, judging based on the current scenario. Because even if in the general Lok Sabha election, one party comes out in a thumping majority, during the regional elections, the situation is completely different. Especially in the south of India, there are like regional parties which do very well in their respective regions.
Trajectories कैसे हो सकते हैं?
I think to be able to predict the future, you need to study history in detail.
Exactly.
So that's why you're
Exactly.
speaking to. Okay.
So I'm basically saying that more and more people who are interested in delivering the goods on the cultural side, on the civilizational side, may say Vikas must go hand in hand with civilizational security, especially with too many problems, let's say, rearing their heads. Okay. And apart from that, the larger revisitation that the entire world will go through is revisiting the model of democracy as it stands. I'm not saying it'll move to dictatorship or whatever. It may want to go with some kind of what I call enlightened democracy, which is exactly what the Rajya Sabha was meant to do. So the Britishers, they designed it in such a way that Lok Sabha will accommodate all the popular voices to shut up the Congress. Yahan pe aake chilla lo tum. I'll give you a place to shout. But your policy decisions will be vetoed by Rajya Sabha because that will be populated by bureaucrats and subject matter experts. Which is why we have a policy even today of nominating experts from different fields as part of Rajya Sabha, saying the masses are represented here, the intelligentsia will be represented here. We may look at a situation where the Rajya Sabha or a Rajya Sabha-like model finds greater say in policy making and whatnot.
Will that truly happen?
See, these things can't be designed. These things are usually organic. It's a matter of a particular, let's say, spark, where people realize, no, we need a different model now. If this is not throwing up enough options. 2 days ago, Anand and I had the good fortune, or let's say, of sharing space at the SRCC Business Conclave with Mr. Manishankar Iyer, Mr. Salman Khurshid, and Mr. Sudhindra Kulkarni. The topic of the entire debate was Western narrative about Bharat and Indian narrative about Bharat. That was the discussion. Us topic maybe they managed to bring in BJP versus Congress. The entire thing was different. It was about media narratives. It's about how the West sees us. It's about how we see them. In what context? The BBC documentary, the downright insulting caricatures during COVID, or the Chandrayaan, and so on and so forth, where they still think of us as a country of snake charmers and whatnot. And what's wrong with being a snake charmer? Sorry. So these are the kind of caricatures that we were hoping to discuss. It became about BJP versus Congress within 10 minutes. So, and the best part is the audience was tired of it.
Yeah.
They're like, mudde pe baat karo, talk about the issue. We are not interested in this whataboutery anymore. Give us better content. Give us better issues to deal with. That is what will push the conversation on democracy.
Very short video, if I compare it with to my previous videos. I think he's very articulate. He knows how to present his thoughts very well, and he knows when people are going away from the topic. And just now he said the topic was Western caricatures of Indians, and I think it's very true. I think in the Western media, Indians are still presented as a backward country, and this is like a national agenda for them, just to create that sense of American nationality in the American subcontinent. Because let's take an example for India. There are multiple news channels who tend to show a news of Pakistan for comparison, that how better off we are. So similarly, I feel that in American media, the same thing is going on. They show India as a backward, country as a poster child of a third world, and just to make them feel better, just to show them that how better off you are. So that said, it also has certain serious implications for India, because when it happens in America, then people listen. Because people are sure about the institutional character of America. People are sure that the democracy in America is very stable. So if anything happens in America, then the rest of the world listens. So according to him, that was the topic of the conversation, and it went away. Secondly, let's talk about the topic of this clip, BJP's real power. So, BJP's real power, as I gathered from this video, is the lack of credible opposition. And as we know, like, for every healthy democracy, a credible opposition is important. But at the same time, we cannot blame BJP for it, because it's not their job to create opposition. It's the job of the opposition to emerge credible in the eyes of the people. So let's see if it happens in the coming time. Let's see how the things change. Recently, it changed in Karnataka. Let's see how the Lok Sabha elections pan out. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. This is all for this video.